Welcome back to Driving with Miss Daisy. I'm Daisy. I'm on the golf team at DePauw, and today we're going to be talking about how to practice. So we're going to go over some drills that you can do, and then kind of just some things that you should be thinking about while you're practicing. So on the range, my best piece of advice is that you shouldn't go out and just aimlessly hit golf balls. You should pick a target, and you should know how far away that target is. Don't get too hung up on the distance, because range balls don't go as far as, the golf balls that you hit when you're actually playing on the course. So don't get too hung up on the distance, but have it in mind. And make sure that you're picking a target. That's very important. Have a specific goal for every shot that you're trying to hit. So you need to try to play different shots. Try to play a fade, try to play a draw, try to play a high shot, a low shot, a knockdown. Don't take a full swing. Take some half swings, some three-quarter swings, and try some punch shots, because you're probably going to get stuck in the trees at some point when you're playing. Just practice different shots and have that in mind for have a goal for every shot that you hit. Think about what you want to do with each range ball that you hit. When you're hitting your driver, you should establish a fairway. So that means not just picking one target out in the distance and knowing how far away it is. It's picking two things that are out in the distance and trying to hit in between them. So another thing that you should be doing on the range is trying to establish a one-way miss. So you don't want to go out on the course and be standing over your tee shot and be terrified because you don't know which way it's going to go. Oh, I might miss it right. Oh, I might miss it left. I don't really know what's going to happen. The driving range is the perfect time to figure out exactly how you are going to miss your golf ball. So when you're establishing a fairway on the driving range, you can aim a little bit left of your fairway and try to play into the center of it. It's a perfect time to practice that exact scenario. Do that on the range. Develop a one-way miss. Try to miss it right. Try not to ever miss it left. Pick a direction that you are going to miss your golf ball in. The range is perfect for that. Another thing that I would say is that you need to take your time on the driving range. Don't race through, don't speed through your bucket of golf balls. Take your time. Think about each shot. Go through your routine sometimes. Practicing your routine on the driving range is good practice, because you should always go through your routine on the course, so it doesn't hurt to practice it on the range sometimes. Practicing your routine is still practicing golf, because you do that while you're playing golf. Go through your routine sometimes. Now when you're chipping, the best thing that you can do is work on distance control, and you don't even need a green to work on distance control. My favorite way to work on distance control is to put a towel 10 yards away from me, and then 20 and 30 and 40 yards away from me. And I like to take, say, 20 golf balls and try to land those golf balls on the 10-yard towel. So not end up on the towel, land on the towel. So when they're in there, the first bounce they take, it lands on that towel. And then, so I hit 20 to the 10-yard towel, I'll hit 20 to the 20-yard towel, 30, 40, and then I'll work my way back down. So I'll go 40, 30, 20, 10. And I do that with multiple different clubs. When you're chipping, you should learn how to chip with different clubs. So I use my 60 degree when I chip, not very often. Don't go out and use your 60 degree for every chip shot. But I do use it. It's for special occasions. I use my 56 degree, I use my 52 degree, and I use my pitching wedge. That's a pretty big difference between your 60 degree and your pitching wedge. So that's learning how to play some vastly different shots. And you should try that too. You should try to play different shots. If you want to work on getting creative with those shots that you play, maybe you could hit your 7-iron when you're chipping. So if you want to try out some different things, pick a relatively flat spot on the green, off the green so that you're chipping, and try to play different shots to the same hole. So use your 56 degree and play a pitch, and get it up in the air and play it to the hole, and then grab your 7-iron and try to bump it to the hole and keep it low, and it'll spin, it'll run out. So try to practice different things and do it to the same hole so you can see how that shot reacts, and you can compare it to the way you play other shots. That's super good practice. You should also chip from bad lies and from the rough, so from thick rough. So you shouldn't always be giving yourself a good lie. You shouldn't always be putting it in the fairway grass. You are going, when you miss the green, you don't always miss it short in the fairway. You'll miss it right, left, long. You'll miss it in some really awful spots. So you should practice from those bad lies. So a chipping drill that I like to do is called the 5-ball elimination drill. You pick any spot you want, and you chip 5 balls, and you try to make them. So I'll pick a random spot on the green. I'll chip 5 balls to that hole, and if I don't make one, then I'll pick another spot, and I'll chip 5 balls to a different hole. And if I make one, then I get to move to a different spot, and I get to throw one of those balls away and forget about it. And I'll chip 4 balls to a hole, and so on and so forth until I end up with 0 golf balls left. You have to hole all 5 golf balls. You have to make all 5 golf balls. And you end up spending a long, long time doing this because making chips is really hard. But it's really good practice because you go beyond just trying to chip it close and set yourself up to have a good putt, and you're actually trying to make a chip shot and get it on the right line with the right distance. It's super good practice. It is really difficult, and it takes time. Another thing I like to do, it's pretty basic. It's just a simple up and down drill. So I take 5 balls and I chip them all to a hole, and I putt them all, and I try to get them all up and down. So that's a chip and 1 putt. And I do it with 5 balls. I do it from 4 different spots. So I end up getting a score out of 20. And then I'll do it again and try to beat my score every time I do it. And it's difficult. It has some pressure. That's a good drill to do. It adds pressure to you. You know, you want to beat your score. You want to get up and down. That's a great drill, and it works your chipping and your putting. So it's great drill. Now, when we talk about practicing putting, I believe that you should spend most of your time with your short putts. So that's anywhere between 3 and 5 feet. So this is an alignment stick. You can use this when you're working on your putting. You can use this when you're working on your chipping, and you can use it on the range. I use it the most on the putting green, actually, because conveniently, it's exactly 4 feet long, and I have marked off on it at each foot. So I can measure out my 3-footers and my 4-footers, and then you just kind of move it to the side, and then you got a 5-footer too. This is a great tool. It's very versatile. It helps me set up my short putting drills, and it also helps me with my alignment. So alignment is a very important thing when you're practicing putting. You can use an alignment stick, you can use a chalk line, and you can also use a string. So that's a little bit more complicated, but you can use a string as well. And basically anything that's straight and can help make sure that your eyes, your shoulders, and your putter face are square to the target. So if you struggle to hit your putts on the line that you want to, it's probably because your alignment is poor, and you should be using some sort of tool to help you with your alignment. So try an alignment stick, try a chalk line, and putt along the straight line that you have chosen. So a drill I like to do to help you with your start line, it doesn't use one of the aids I've talked about, but it's called the gate drill. You use tees. So if this was my putter and I'm aiming at the hole this way, I would put a tee here and I would put a tee here, and I would swing my putter through this gate, and then to make sure that I'm starting the ball on line, I will put 2 tees out here in front of my putter that are the width of the ball, and I have to, swing my putter through the gate that I've created with tees, and then the ball has to go through the gate that I've created for it with tees as well. So that will give you direct feedback on if your putter path is good, and if your putter is square to what you're trying to aim at. Because if it's not, you're going to either hit the tees that are bordering your putter because your path isn't good, or your ball is going to hit the tees that guard it, and it's gonna, you didn't hit your putt on line, obviously, because your putter face is all wacky and not square. So that's a great drill. It gives you direct, instant feedback on your alignment. Another drill I like to do is for distance control, distance control is super important for your long putts, lag putting. You usually always have a lag putt during your round, so distance control is very important. So the drill I like to do, I put a tee 20 feet away from the hole, 30 feet, and 40 feet away from the hole, and I put a tee 2 feet behind the hole. And from 20 feet, you get 5 balls, and every single one of them has to either be to the hole or within 2 feet past. So, or it can go in. Obviously, that's great too. And you have to get, from 20 feet, you have to get all 5 of them in that zone or in the hole. And then from 30 feet, you still get to use all 5 balls, but you only have to get 4 of them in that zone. And then from 40 feet, you still get to use all 5 balls, and you have to get 3 of them in that zone. And if you fail to get one in the zone, you get credit for making one. So if I get 4 of my balls in the zone from 20 feet and I make one, and then I go back to the 30-footers and I fail to get one of them in the zone, it doesn't matter because I get credit from the make that I had at 20 feet. So making putts is rewarding in this drill because then you can leave one short or hit it too far and not be in the zone. If you want to make this drill harder, which it's already difficult as it is, but if you're looking for a little extra challenge, when you move back to 30 feet, don't give yourself 5 chances, only give yourself 4 chances. And when you move back to 40 feet, don't give yourself 5 chances, give yourself 3 chances. So that'll make it very difficult. Surely you'll struggle with that because that's very hard. So that's a really great way to work on distance control, whether you do the drill in the difficult way or the extremely difficult way. It'll definitely help you with your distance control. If you're looking to add even more pressure to yourself, I have some more drills for you. On the driving range, if you have good imagination, if you're creative, you can imagine that you're playing a hole on the course. So picture your favorite hole on your favorite golf course, or picture a hole that gives you trouble every time you play it. So if you've got your picture in your head of the hole that you want to play, now just play it from the driving range. So go through your routine, tee a ball up, go through your routine, and hit your tee shot into a realistic fairway that is like similar to the hole that you're playing. Establish a fairway on the driving range and try to hit it into it and pretend like you're playing the hole. And then for your next shot, determine about how far away you would be if you were playing the hole and what kind of shot you would have to play, and then go through your routine again and play the shot with whatever iron you've selected. And then give yourself a realistic score based on how close you would have been if you hit the green. Or maybe you would have missed the green, so you play a little chip shot on the driving range. That's good. That's a drill that gives you some pressure because you've established fairways, you've established targets to aim at, and you're trying to accomplish a goal. So that puts pressure on you. It's super good practice. If you're looking to add some pressure to your putting drills, my favorite drill of all time, I've spent hours of my life, probably days of my life doing this drill. It's very simple. You use your trusty alignment stick that you have your distances marked off on, and you put tees at like north, east, south, and west around the hole, so you make an X, and you put tees at 3, 4, and 5 feet at each direction around the hole. And then you get 1 ball from each spot, so you end up making 12 putts. You start with the 3-footers, and you go in a circle, and then you go to the 4-footers, and you go in a circle, and then you go to the 5-footers, and you make all those. But if you miss, you have to start over. So you end up starting over a couple of times because that drill is pretty difficult. It takes some time as well, but it's very good practice. It puts a lot of pressure on you. Now, if you're really looking to make your short putting drills difficult, I was given a drill. It's called the Butcher drill. Ryan O'Toole gave this drill to me. She is a professional golfer on the LPGA Tour. Super great player, super nice person. She gave me this drill, and I hate it because it's super difficult. It's pretty similar. It's similar to the other one, but it's much more difficult. So you put tees at north, east, south, and west around the hole at 3 feet, and then you put tees at northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest at 5 feet around the hole. So it ends up looking like pretty much like a compass, actually. It has a nice pattern to it. And then you have to make 3 balls from each spot. So that's a lot of putts to have to make. And of course, if you miss one, you have to start over. So that ends up taking a extremely long time. It's very frustrating, very difficult, but it's very good practice because there's so much pressure tied to a drill like that. And these drills that have all this pressure make you a better player. It's not just like you're doing it because it's hard and it's good practice. No, it actually translates to the course, because when you approach a 3-footer that you have on the course, now you know that you're going to make this 3-footer because you've done it in practice so many times with the same amount of pressure. You're not afraid to stand over a 3-footer or a 5-footer or a 4-footer because you've done it over and over and over and over again on the practice green, and with that same pressure. But that pressure only works if you complete the drill. So don't leave the putting green or the driving range until you actually complete the drill that you've started. Otherwise, the pressure doesn't really exist because you're just leaving whenever you want to. If you don't actually make all the putts in a row like you're supposed to, then what was the pressure even for? Because you didn't even complete the drill. So if you start a drill like that, you have to complete it. It's fulfilling. It actually makes the pressure if you have to complete the drill. Don't leave until you complete the drill. Otherwise, it doesn't even matter. Embrace the pressure. It makes you better. That's all I have for how to practice. We will see you next week for basic swing mechanics.